one of the things that came out of National Police Week this year is kind of every president that we have that comes through C.O.P.S kind of has something that they focus on, like wants to be their legacy, I guess, as president of C.O.P.S. And Miss Pat has clearly been about joy and having joy in your life. And she reminds us often, make it fun, make it weird, is kind of the saying that came out of National Police Week from Miss Pat. So what I'd like to do right now is I want us to all get to know each other just a little bit. We could make it a little weird. So nothing too scary, don't panic. All the introverts here, don't freak out, because I'm you, trust me. What we're gonna do is I'm just gonna ask each one of you to introduce yourself, say your name and where you're from, and then I'm gonna ask you just to give us some little fun, quirky fact about you, okay? And something that maybe nobody else here knows in the room. So I'm gonna throw something out there. It'll be something fun. We'll put ourselves out there a little bit. And then I'm gonna ask those of you that are in the Zoom there's a question and answer section in the Zoom that you can put a question or answer in. Go ahead and introduce yourselves in the question and answer as well. And I'll have Alyssa read out a few of those, probably not all, because we don't have all morning to do that, but we'll read out a few of those from our folks at home as well. So I'm gonna start. I'm Dianne Bernhard, and I'm from Camdenton, Missouri. And something that probably nobody in this room knows, that when I have a moment to myself when I'm doing nothing C.O.P.S or nothing family, I love to binge watch Grey's Anatomy. Seriously. There you go. Nobody knew that, right? So I'm going to go ahead and start right here, and I'll come back with our folks here. Can I start with you, Kat? Yes, of course you can, because we're going to make it weird. So when I bring you the microphone, if you could just quickly stand up and turn and face this way, because the people at home, they're in this camera right here. And so if you're talking like this is what they're going to see. Okay, so you'll just stand up and kind of turn that direction and introduce yourself. That would be great. Thanks.
I'm Kathy Duck, and I'm from Tony, Alabama. Just moved there recently in the last month. And something everybody doesn't know is I'm a spelunker. We like to cave.
Awesome.
Hello, I'm Alicia Chamberlain, and
That's your better side. This side.
Alicia Chamberlain, South Florida, and I have an irrational fear of gnomes.
Nice. We'll try to keep them out of the training.
That's really weird.
I'm Autumn Stradley. I'm from West Central Florida. This is my mom, and sometimes I call her down to my house. She's in Alabama, and I call her down to my house to clean out my cabinets.
Nice.
And she does.
That's what you took my words. I'm Cindy Hatcher from Alabama, and I go and clean out her closets. But what you don't know about me is when I get all stressed out, I like to clean my house.
Nice. Can you pass it straight back there? That'd be great.
I'm Debbie Brangenberg from Tupelo, Mississippi, the birthplace of Elvis. Most people will call me a liar when I say this, but I am a true introvert at heart.
Same.
And I have to be an extrovert in my paying gig.
Same.
My name is Mary Whitehead. I'm here from Miami, Florida. Born into a really big family, always around a lot of people. But something strange about me is that when I really, really love is to just close up in my room with my dog.
Nice. There you go.
Good morning. My name is Dolores Johnson. I'm from Miami, Florida, and I love Converse tennis shoes.
Nice. Just pass right back there.
Kent O'Donnell, Montana. I'm currently a law enforcement officer for the past creeping up on 26 years. And something about me, I played in a steel drum band in high school for about 4 years and toured the country.
Nice. Very cool.
I'm Gary Dukeman, West Central Florida, Tampa Bay area. I don't know anybody here, so you don't know anything about me.
I know.
Other than Autumn, but a few. A few of you a little bit, but I don't know, I'm a scuba diver.
Nice.
Rishi Singh, Houston, Texas, Harris County Sheriff's Office. Diehard Astros fan.
Nice. Go Cardinals. Sorry.
No Cardinals. Astros. I'm Tracy Sullivan. I'm from Houston area, Greater Houston C.O.P.S chapter. I love to ride motorcycles and fish.
Good morning, I'm Josephine Maffrey-Morey from the New Jersey State Police Survivors of the Triangle, and I am a World War II history buff, retired history teacher, and I will be spending the month of August in Germany retracing the footsteps of the 325th Engineers Combat Battalion on their march during World War II.
Awesome. Fun.
Kevin Fredenberg from Salem, Oregon. Not much about me. I like to volunteer and get myself into trouble with my wife because I volunteer for too much stuff.
Gotcha. We're grateful for that.
Chris McDavid from Tennessee, and something that I just recently started, a lot of people don't know about, is I'm a fishing instructor for our high school team.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Linda Parker. I'm here with Minnesota, but I'm originally from Florida, so that's my home. Weird thing about me is I'm normally an introvert unless I'm singing. And then all hands, I mean, just all bets are off. So.
Robert Ricks from Central Florida, and I spend the majority of time on my boat when I have free time.
Awesome. You can just hand it to those guys back there. They're going to wipe that off, and I'm going to start right up here. You're on. You're up. You're up.
Kim Talbot, Roswell, New Mexico, and I am also on the National Board for Safari Club International.
Awesome. Nice. You want to just pass right that way?
I'm Lila Alonji from the Phoenix Springs, Florida, and there's nothing really exciting. That's it. You can tell them.
I'm her better half. I'm the lucky one. My name's Don Alonje, and we're both from the Phoenix Springs, and I worked with the Sheriff's Office here in Walton County from 2012 to 2019, and that was it. I don't really have anything special. I did scuba dive, though, with a fellow over there. Thank you.
Awesome.
Hello, my name is Michelle Romas Farber. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. This is my second time on the board. And let me see, what could I say about myself? I have a favorite son, my only son, and he's adopted.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Wendy Veers, and I'm from Missouri, from here, and I hate speaking in public like this.
But we love you.
Hi, I'm Vicki Davidson. I'm from the Seattle area, and I, 1 year ago, took up hiking, and I absolutely love it. My late husband would be shocked. And for the Astros fan, you're playing Seattle. It's on.
I'm Lauren Ross. I'm from the Northern Nevada chapter. I live in Reno. My little thing is I like to run locomotives at a local railroad museum. I drive trains for fun.
I'm Doreen Versfeld, and I'm from New Jersey, and I'm a huge I Love Lucy fan, and made my family go to Jamestown, New York a few years ago to go to her town where she was born.
And I'm Charlie Versfeld. I'm her husband, and I collect old comic books and old action figures. I have comic books going back to the 1930s. I stop at every yard sale, estate sale, garage sale, constantly on this hunt.
I'm Debbie Jacobs from Idaho. I don't know if I have anything weird, but I graduated from Washington State University, go Cougs, and was recruited by Disneyland to go work for them.
I'm Denise LaValle from Northern Virginia, and I really like snakes.
Nice. We have them in Missouri.
I'm Tracy Smith from Flower Mound, Texas, and I have 5 children and 18 grandchildren, and I don't babysit.
Good morning, I'm Beth Coleman from Arizona. I like to relax by doing laundry. Really weird, I know, but.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Dobson from upstate New York. My obsessions tend to flutter, and my current ones are The Bachelorette, Wonder Woman, and Five Finger Death Punch.
So I'm Ellen Gerdad. I'm with Rochester, New York. Lisa's also part of our chapter. We're actually the chapter that's working with a agency that lost their officer last night. Thank you, everybody who's been giving me support. The weird thing about me, of many, but I use it whenever you do those truth and a lie, getting to know kind of things. I've actually knew, because thank God he's dead, a serial killer.
That's weird.
No one wants to believe that's true.
Yep.
I don't know how you follow that up. Like, I don't know any serial killers. My name's Jennifer Hillman. I'm from Arkansas. Something weird about me is I'm so ADHD that I don't watch movies at all, and so I catch a lot of grief from people with the, what? You've never seen that? It's a huge topic, so it's a big deal. And I love to dive into Funiac. It's beautiful. Beautiful springs there, so that's it.
So I'm Barb McMurrick. I'm from Southern California, and I tend to binge watch the home improvement shows.
I'm Helen Garner from Central California, and I'm sure I'm the only Oakland A's fan here, or maybe in all of the United States. So.
Good morning, Mercedes Wallace, Central California. And the weird thing is probably same thing. I hate talking in public, so I'm out of my comfort zone.
I'm Mary Carmichael. I'm from Arkansas. I hate talking in public also, so be careful when you tell Mama Pat that, or you end up on the national board. I guess something that even the board doesn't know about me is that I'm a certified scuba diver.
I'm Dana Evans. Hi, everybody at home. And there are several things weird about me, which can be attested by anybody who really knows me.
True story.
But one that most of you don't know is I can belly dance or roll my tummy, whichever way you want to say that. So there you go.
I actually knew that. That's scary. It's scary. I'm going to keep us moving a little quicker, or we're not going to get any news from National. So we're going to keep it coming. What's that?
I'm Jamie Bradway.
News
Something maybe a little strange about me is I was training a cadaver dog until he really enjoyed giving more tooth hugs. So now we're not on the SAR team anymore. But yeah, I can train a cadaver dog.
I am Sarah Purcell from the state of Kansas, and something you guys probably won't know about me is I am starting a private organization in the state of Kansas that is substance abuse help for specifically law enforcement officers and their families and survivors. And I just really love helping people recovering from alcoholism and substance abuse. So.
Thank you, President.
My name is Lynn. I'm from Maryland, and I hate snakes, love World War II, and I'll hike with you any day.
Emilio Miares from North Cuba, better known as Miami. And I get projects like try to help people along and special people, and Max is one of my new projects, and he's a friend of mine.
I'm Cheryl Railsback from the greater Houston, Texas area, and y'all don't know, but a few minutes ago I sat on Max's lap and may or may not have left a lipstick mark on his head.
Oh my goodness.
So
We're pretty close on the board, just saying.
Hi, I'm Pat Caruth, and I'm addicted to monk marathons. It's a jungle out there.
Sugarfoot. You stepped on my, okay, short. Connie Moyer from a village of about 1,500 in Bremen, Ohio, give or take a death or a birth. And my thing is, when I'm frustrated, I move furniture. So Scott always said I could never be blind and live in the house with you, woman.
I'm Max Morgan, I'm from Utah. I only have one wife, and I like to golf.
That's weird.
I like to golf and hang out at my pool.
I'm Virginia Ricks. I'm from Central Florida, and I hate watching TV.
I'm Kyle McAllister. I am from Boston, Massachusetts, and something really weird, I'm getting married next week.
Go ahead, Amy.
I'm Amy Forsyth Giuliano from Western New York, and I'm pretty perfect, so there's not really anything weird.
Oh, wow.
No, just kidding. I love to deep sea fish, and I'm terrified of snakes, and it's my mission in life to see a bald eagle in the wild.
I'm Erin DeSerio from Pataskala, Ohio, and I usually spend the bulk of my time chasing after my 6 kids and my granddaughter. I try to pass them to Angie, but she won't take them.
Go get Barbie.
Good morning. I'm Angie McDowell. I am from Pickerington, Ohio, so right down the road from her. That's why she's always trying to pass those kids off. When I'm not founding nonprofit organizations or serving on a nonprofit organization, I love Harley drag racing.
I'm Andrea Woods. I'm from West Tennessee. I love a good cruise, and they have to have a balcony.
Good morning. My name is Tora Newton. I'm with the Shelby County Sheriff's Office. I represent West Tennessee C.O.P.S. And I secretly sit through Netflix series with my husband and pretend that I've never watched it before.
Good morning. I'm Alfredia Price, and I love watching Westerns from Memphis, Tennessee.
Good morning. I am Tamikia Malone from Shelby County Sheriff's Office, also representing West Tennessee C.O.P.S. I am not a public speaker. I love to sing, and I'm afraid of Tora Newton.
Good morning, my name is Trisha Mullen, and I've been painting or hand painting ceramics for well over 30 years. I love to paint.
Hi, I'm Kathy Christodulo. I'm from Long Island, New York, and probably weird is that I've been with the same company for 30 years.
Morning, I'm Dave Johnson. I'm from Moline, Illinois, and for a couple years I toured with Disney on Ice.
Good morning. I'm Vicki from the great state of Georgia, the home of their world champion Atlanta Braves. Woo! Go Cards. And I love collecting cookbooks, and I do not cook.
Good morning. My name is Janet Graves. I'm originally from Oklahoma, but obviously now I live in Georgia. There's a lot of weird stuff about me. I also ride motorcycles, Mary, so awesome. Nothing like seeing the country like that. My puppy is a wolf. And even though I live in Georgia, I'm a huge Oklahoma State fan, so go Cowboys, and I still fly their flag in my yard in Georgia.
Morning, I'm Cheryl Farquhar. I live in Houghton, Michigan, which is in the UP, and we had about 340 inches of snow last year.
Wow. you feel about that, Miami?
Good morning. I'm Brian Rendon. I'm from Michigan, and something I like to cook and shovel snow.
I'm Dave Wallace. I'm from Ottawa, Tennessee, which is just outside of Chattanooga. I'm a political refugee from California. 2 years sober. No. From that. Took my pension and got that out. And so, anyway, I'm also the father of triplets. My wife lied to me.
I'm Jamie Tome. I live in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, which is just outside of Harrisburg. One of my hobbies is boxing.
Good morning. Karina Carter. I'm from Massachusetts with New England Cops. I've been a police officer since 1984, and the weird thing about me is I have an unhealthy collection of designer shoes for someone who wears combat boots 95% of the time.
I kind of love that. That's awesome. I think we're good. Yeah, we're good, Blake, I think. Yeah, so we're gonna meet the staff later this afternoon, so I'm not gonna do that piece right now. And I understand from on our virtual group, we're having a little glitch with the question and answer, so we're trying to get that fixed on our end. So if we get that fixed, we will absolutely hear out from our group as well that is online. So one of the things I think that's important to do there is I heard a lot of hobbies. I heard a lot of fun things that you all like to do. And as you work for cops and you absorb yourself into the organization, it's very easy for those things to kind of, what was big part of your life to become smaller because you're busy doing all the volunteer work. And so I want you to always remind yourself as you go through and work for cops not to lose yourself in the process as well. So always remember what those hobbies are. And if you're sitting here and you're like, you're struggling, like what is it about me that I do? I don't really do any of that anymore. They're all used to's. Maybe take that as a little lesson and like refresh, go back and look at it and see what I can do. So if somebody asks me that next year, I can say, I do this great thing that I've always wanted to do. If you're one of those people who tends to lose themselves, I understand how that happens. So I'm gonna spend just a few minutes talking to you a little bit about the status of national cops and kind of give you an update of where we are from a national perspective. We're gonna spend some time later this weekend talking about strategic plan and where we're going forward. We're gonna talk about National Police Week and where we're gonna go forward from here. But I'm just gonna give you a snapshot of where we're at right now. Fair enough? Okay, awesome. Financial update. This is all super fun stuff. Like I love numbers, so it's actually super fun stuff for me. But BJA grant. We are in the middle right now of a BJA grant. We have a $5.5 million BJA grant that will expire next year in May. So we're in the middle of our grant cycle right now. Obviously that has been challenging during COVID as we submitted what we would do, and now we have what we did do. And so we're trying right now to spend some time marrying that up so we can use the rest of our grant. BJA stands for the Bureau of Justice Assistance. So we get a grant from the Department of Justice from the BJA department to do it. It's about a third of our operating expenses comes from that grant. We just recently had an audit that got submitted to our national board yesterday. And we're pleased to say that the audit came back and everything seems to be very financially sound. We're in a good position right now, so that's really good. Investments, our investments are doing the same thing y'all's investments are doing in your retirement accounts right now. So we're watching that really clearly. Right now we do have a good chunk of money that is in investments to ensure COP's future. And we're trying to work with our trust company to try to ensure as we go towards things, people start talking about things like recession. Possibly we'll be talking about that in the next year, the next month, the next week. We're not sure. But as we're doing that, we're working with our companies to try to maintain our investments the best we can. Obviously, we've seen a loss in our investments. As of last year, our last fiscal year, we actually, to put it in perspective, last year we raised about, in investments, unrealized obviously, we're not cashing any of these out, about $108,000 we made in investments. To put it in perspective, the year before that was $1.8 million. So it's definitely went down. And then since the end of our fiscal year, which is March 31st, it has went down from there as well. Donations, this is a struggle for national COPS, same as I'm sure you guys are seeing the struggle of The giving isn't quite where it was when everything was good in the economy, but we are working hard to try to maintain those donations. We've been pretty fortunate over the past couple of years to still bring in more money than we're spending. That margin has gotten a little bit smaller, but we still are bringing in more money that we're spending. This is our budget to actual numbers. I don't know if you guys realize what size of budget National C.O.P.S has, but we budget around $6 million. And so our expenses this past year was $5.7 million, and we brought in 6.3. So that's pretty good for the last fiscal year. We're not exactly sure what's going to happen for next year, but we're working hard to try to always have our revenue exceed our expenses. And that was our net assets at the end of the fiscal year, and that's all of our assets, our cash, our investments, and everything. You can see we went up slightly over the last year. You can see, if you look back over our history, I went back to 2014 because that's the statistics that I keep, but you can see how we've done in investments recently. You see that big bump that happened in 2020. In 2021, we were able to add a little new cash in there into our investments, and then we saw the gain from the basically stocks. And then for 2021, we were really level, and we expect that it will go down some over the next fiscal year, although none of us obviously really know what's going to happen with that. Okay, so our C.O.P.S membership growth by year, you can see going back to 2014, we were about 30,000, and each year that's grown with a big spike in 2021 and 2022, and that's the same thing that you all have experienced as well. With the increase in the number of officers lost, our membership has unfortunately grown there. Our staff growth. So you can see, going back to 2014, we've kind of mirrored what our number of membership has. As it's went up, our staff has went up. The membership has basically doubled since 2014, a little more than doubled, and our staff the same. This year, we are not recommending adding an additional staff member. We're going to stay level because we're just kind of tightening our belts and preparing for, what's going on with investments in the economy. So we're not adding any this year. We did add a position this past fiscal year. Alyssa is on there. She's over here in the corner. Her face just went, oh, I didn't know I was part of the presentation. Everybody meet Alyssa. We're glad to have her. She's awesome. But we brought her on to help you all a little bit and to help our survivors that are struggling to get their benefits. They're struggling to figure out how to navigate the system. To educate our survivors more about scholarships and what's available through National C.O.P.S. A lot of our families don't know they can even get scholarships through C.O.P.S. And so she's here as part to do that as well, the education. She's working directly with HOPE on benefits. If you have a family that has the benefit application out there and they don't know what the status of that is, we are able to actually get on the phone and call HOPE, and we typically will get a pretty good response as to where we're at in the process, what they're waiting for. They need another information from somewhere, and then we can help you all help that family get that information so they can get their benefits processed. So it's a good liaison, one person. There's a good trust relationship there with the PSOB office. She will also help with kids counseling reimbursement. So if you've got children of our fallen officers whose insurance won't cover all their counseling, or they don't have insurance and they need to go to counseling, they can apply for counseling through National C.O.P.S, and Alyssa will manage that program as well. So if you have any questions about that, she's here for that. And she's starting to become more knowledgeable, and she's going to be maintaining in our office about state benefits. So she may reach out to you and say, has there been any changes in your state benefits over the last year, so we can make sure everything is up to date. If you have any changes in your benefits, please send those to us. We'd like to keep that on our website so anybody can go out and look and see what benefits are available to each state. And we also like to, when we do our traumas and law enforcement training, we present packets to the attendees, letting them know what the benefits are in their state. So we want to make sure we're not giving them bad information. So work with Alyssa if you have any changes with that. Did you have a question, Andrea? Hey, Blake, the microphone didn't make it back up here. She asked if there an age for the counseling. Thanks. And she's here. This is Kim from Illinois. She's the best runner ever. That's awesome. Is there an age for counseling? So you want to try to answer that, Alyssa? Let's do that. Get the microphone. Awesome.
Is it okay?
It is. They're good back there. This is a VOD. They've got us.
Awesome. Thank you. So funding ceases on the child's 22nd birthday, which I'll go more into kids counseling this afternoon also, but 22nd birthday is when they're now ineligible.
Awesome. Thanks, Alyssa. Okay, scholarships, just talking about, you can see how this is trending up. Each year, our scholarships, more people are applying for the scholarships. We're hopefully getting that awareness out there. The National Board during the last year did make a change to our scholarship program, and our benefit was $1,500 per semester, and it's now $2,000 per semester. So that's a change that happened in the last year. So that number likely will go up in 2022 as well. This is kind of historically, this is a little harder for us to predict of how much money we'll spend on kids counseling. You can see it's generally trending up as people become more aware of it. And it's dropped off a little bit in 2021, but everything kind of got a little wacky in 2020 and 2021, so it's hard to use those as predicting years for anything. Our merchandise sales, and you guys have all these stats in your books as well. I know this is small up here. But you can see from 2015 is when we brought merchandise in-house. We started selling our own merchandise. There's some upstairs if you guys are interested in any of that. You can see in 2015, we were at about $160,000 worth to about $354,000 in 2022. So that continues to grow. Shout out to Nicole, who handles our merchandise here in the office. She's here, so she's doing great. I see everybody wearing C.O.P.S clothing. That's awesome. Love to see that. Okay. Our program attendance. This is also going back to 2014. You can see we were kind of on a steady incline, and then COVID hit. We had our virtual programs in 2020. 2021, we started hosting in person again, and we are noticing in 2022, just with our first 4 programs that we've had, that it's up a little bit over 2021, but we're not back to where we were in 2019 yet in our numbers. My slides are like random. I have them all in here, different things. I'm going to talk about why in July for a second here. This is an initiative that was created by our marketing team. I don't know if any of you guys are getting like some miles in or some minutes in July, but this is something that we put out to try to do something nationally that we can change each year, the number of officers that we honor at National Police Week. We are doing a fundraiser in honor of those. And you can walk, bike, swim, horse ride, whatever it is you want to do for your minutes. And if you fundraise at least $50, you'll get a Born Primitive t-shirt. So it's a pretty cool deal to do that. Last year, I think it was cups that we gave out in socks. Didn't we do socks last year? I'm pretty sure we did socks last year for Why in July. So kind of keep an eye on that. If you can share that with us, we would love for that to be our virtual program that goes national and for this to grow. Yes, ma'am.
I have never heard anything. I got an email, and I would like to know how we can get more information out to everybody about it, so that we can get more participation.
Okay, I'm going to carry this so I can give it. So this would be, it's in the Hope magazine that should have just hit should be hitting your, if it hasn't already hit, should be hitting your home soon. We had it on our social media, and we sent out through constant contact emails about it. If you want more information about that, Blake is here in the back. He can help you today about that, how to set that up. To do that, it's just an individual login to set it up. It's not hard to do. But Blake is here, and he can absolutely help you with that. Programs that have happened so far this year, we've had spouses for couples, coworkers for couples. Look at that handsome guy in the back there. Brought his wife this year. That was fun. We learned a whole lot more about Max. Spouses for coworkers for couples. Adult children has been hosted, and kids camp. We just got back from kids camp. I can tell you it was a wonderful experience. We're in Wisconsin, 77 degrees, kind of average. Wind was kind of nice and breezy, not at all like Missouri. But we saw what you guys see when you go to your programs. We saw 6-year-old kids identifying with 6-year-old kids and giving each other peer support. And it's just almost pure magic to watch it happen. That peer support happens at any level. And somebody's giggling back there. That's the 6-year-olds right back there. No, I'm just kidding you. Yeah, so it's just amazing to see that camp. And we had some folks here that were there, volunteer, and I know Matt was there. It's just an amazing experience. If you ever get a chance to volunteer or have anything to do with that, I recommend it as well. Programs still to come. Here's the dates. Of course, they're all on the website. But we're coming up. Young Adults Camp happens starting on Monday. So some of us will leave from here, not me. I'm not going to this one, but some will leave on Monday and head down to Georgia for Young Adults Camp. We work with the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center to host that, a camp. Then we also have fiancés and significant others, siblings, spouses, coworkers, extended family, and parents still this year. So we hope to see you at your retreat. One of the things we struggle with is new families that come to Police Week, and this year there was so many of them, it was kind of hard to connect sometimes. But one of the things we struggle with is how do we get those families engaged and coming to the programs? Once they come, it's usually not an issue because once they're there, they realize, okay, I get why I'm here, and they understand it. The big leap is how do we get them there? So that's one of the things that we would ask you if you have an ability to influence those families to at least get them in the door for those programs. I know you all try to do that, but if you have any ability to get those families to our hands-on programs, we would 100% appreciate that. And please know you are always welcome to continue to come to your hands-on programs for as long as you need to come. Absolutely. Is there any questions about anything so far? Okay. Upcoming law enforcement training. We do still have some traumas and law enforcement training to host this year. We've already hosted several of them. We are going to be in Bangor, Maine, August 22nd through the 24th, Omaha, Nebraska in September, and in Oregon in October. And then after that, we'll go into our National Conference on Wellness and Trauma. When we host the traumas and law enforcement training in your area, we love to work with the chapter on that. We have a training that's set that we bring in instructors, and we basically, it's a self-contained program. We can come in, we can do the whole thing beginning to end. We ask for help from the chapters to help us provide a survivor panel as part of that training. So you may get contacted if one's coming to your area to help with that. We also love to just partner with that chapter to maybe make something special for the officers that are there at that training. So maybe it's host a breakfast or an event during the training. Don't feel like you have to do it because we can bring the whole thing in and host the training from beginning to end. But it's super fun if we're able to work with the chapter, and you guys can use that opportunity to also meet the officers that come to that training, and it just helps your awareness. So if you have one coming to your area, feel free to reach out to us. We will be reaching out to you about it, and we'd love to see you there. You can attend. There's no charge for any of our traumas training, but you can attend as a chapter member at any of the traumas training anywhere in the United States. Our National Conference on Wellness and Trauma is coming up in Dallas, November 4th through the 6th. We're excited to be back in Texas. We think our numbers will do really well there. Number of officers that will attend. This conference is designed, it's primarily for law enforcement and their families, but we also welcome and encourage survivors to attend as well. Anybody can attend the conference. We did this as a way of increasing the awareness of COPS nationally, and it really has helped. We've seen our numbers grow every year at the conference, so hopefully if you have a line of duty death, they'll have a little bit better idea of who you are because they may have heard of something that we're doing as well. We encourage you, if you want to come to that conference, we would love to have you. If you have questions about that, feel free to reach out to any of us about that conference. Has anybody here ever attended that conference? Wow, a lot of you have. Okay, reach out to them too. They may tell you. It's pretty cool experience to go to it. Okay, this is something new that we wanted to introduce to you. Many of you who have been around for a while maybe remember that years past that we taught, COPS would host and teach critical incident stress management training for chapters. We did this, I think we kind of saturated it. We did it a couple times a year for a number of years to the point that chapters were telling us we don't have anybody new to send. Maybe let's take our direction somewhere else, take our training dollars and go somewhere else. Well, now it's been a number of years, and now we have a lot of new folks that are involved that have not been through the formal training of how do you give peer support, how do you respond if you have a line of duty death. If you're sitting in a room, if you're a spouse and you're sitting in a room with another spouse, do you have any training on how really to respond to that? And critical incident stress management can help with that. It helps teach that peer support and how to be supportive. We are going to host one of that training. It's going to be grant funded, so there won't be a charge to attend. We would encourage one representative from each chapter to go. If you have already been, even if it's been years past, there is no need to go a second time. As a matter of fact, if we show that you have been, we won't have you come because we want to open this up to folks that have never been to this training. So if you can identify somebody from your chapter that would like to go to this, it will be in Oklahoma City, December 8th and 9th. You're going to get more information about this from Stephanie going forward. But just kind of keep that in your mind of who from your chapter. Maybe think about who would be responding if you have a line of duty death, who would be contacting that family, who would be helping them with their public safety officer benefits that maybe hasn't been to this training. Those are the kind of folks that we're looking for to attend this training. If you have questions about, okay, I'm trying to decide between this person and this person, or I'm not sure if this is the right person to go, feel free to reach out to us. We will talk you through that decision process of who should go to that training. It is not mandatory that you send somebody, but if you're not going to send somebody, we want you to tell us because then we can let another person go, maybe a second person from a chapter. Make sense? Are there any questions about that? Awesome. Okay, the National Law Enforcement Conference, just going back to that, I just said this is completely out of order, apologize. But you can see the number of attendees, how it has increased each year until we had 2020, it actually jumped up, but that's because we did it virtual. We could bring a lot of people on the computer, and that actually worked. And then in 2021, we're back pretty steady from 2019. So we do anticipate over 750 officers will be at that conference in Dallas. We also attend, and you guys may or may not know this, but we also attend a lot of conferences, the law enforcement conferences from around the country. We usually have a national board member, myself, a staff member. We always ask to present about C.O.P.S. We always ask for a booth to set up to get the awareness out there about what C.O.P.S is. These conferences travel all over the country. So, for example, we're getting ready to go to FBI NAA the end of the month. That one is in Cleveland, Ohio. So one of the things that we haven't necessarily been that great at that I want to improve at is if we're going to be in your area, letting you know that, hey, we're going to be in your area at a conference to see if you might want to, if there's a free night that we might be able to meet and have dinner or talk about what's going on in your chapter, whatever, those kind of things. So if you know of a major conference coming to your area and you want to reach out to us, we would love to see you there. We tend to get in like mode of we're going, we're presenting, we're doing a booth, we're doing that. We sometimes don't stop and think about, gosh, we're so close to our friends. And we'd love to reach out and see you guys. So if you know we're going to be in your area, let us know. FBINA is coming up, is going to be in Ohio. WIFL is going to be in Phoenix in August. And IACP is going to, where's IACP? Dallas in October. Those are the ones that we have left this year. So, and Noble is actually going on right now, but it's actually right now. So we are actually not going this year because it's the same time as here. So, and if you want me to, does everybody know what all those initials are? We got the Fraternal Order of Police, the International Association of Chiefs Police, the International Law Enforcement Trainers Association, the National Association of Women in Law Enforcement, National Troopers, FBI National Academy. Those are folks that have been to the academy. They have a group that comes together every year. National Sheriffs, WIFL is Women in Federal Law Enforcement. IUPA is a labor organization, International Union of Police Associations. We have the National Latin Police Officers Association. The International Association of Chiefs of Police is ICP. ICPC is International Conference for Police Chaplains. FOP Annual Conference, that's the Fraternal Order of Police. That's every other year. And NOBLE is the National Association, or National Organization for Black Law Enforcement Executives. Boom, there you go. lots of initials. I want to give you just a real brief outlook at where we're at right now as far as line of duty deaths. So as of July 13th, when we put this presentation together, and obviously we just talked about how we added 7 officers in the last week. But as of July 13th, we had 137 deaths of officers in the country. 58 of those were from COVID. This time last year, we had 260. So that kind of shows me, I feel like we may be on the downwards turn from the COVID deaths. I hope we are. I think anecdotally we're seeing that also as well. Of the 563 officers that we honored in May, 70% of those were from COVID, to give that perspective. So if COVID deaths can go down, then I think we can see our deaths going down. One of the things that I pulled recently when I was teaching one of the classes at one of those initials conferences, I pulled the line of duty deaths by decade, and our highest line of duty deaths prior to the 2020s was 1970. What we've seen, the decades, so we've seen the 1970s line of duty deaths were here, 80s they were down a little bit, 90s they were down a little bit more, the 2000s they were down, 2010s they were down, and now in 2020s, they're up for the first time in 5 decades. So we've been seeing, even though it doesn't feel like it, and in the media we talk about the increased violence, the actual gunfire losses have been going down since the 1970s. What we're seeing in 2020 is the medical deaths are increasing exponentially because of COVID. In the late parts of the 2015 to 2020 years, we saw the post 9/11 cancer deaths being recognized, and that caused a spike in our line of duty deaths because they were recognized during those years. Didn't necessarily die during those years, but those were the years they were recognized. So we saw that. But even with the 9/11 deaths, we still saw it stair-step down by decades until this year, and then we saw the big jump up, and that has purely been from COVID. This to me shows me a glimmer of hope, though, that maybe it's starting to release some of its grip on us. And boy, I sure hope so, because I think you all need that relief, and I think we need that relief, and we need our officers all to be okay. So this to me was something worth sharing with you all. This is our National Police Week attendance. You can kind of see, this goes back a lot longer. This goes back all the way to 1998. But you can see our attendance, this really kind of follows that it wasn't really raising for a long time because our line of duty deaths were staying really, really stable. It was jumping up and down here and there, but if you go over the years, it's pretty steady. And then we saw in 2016, 2017, like we were talking about, we saw that big bump, and that was from our post 9/11 cancer deaths. We saw that go up. We also had a spike in violence around that time against officers. And then it's kind of, you see down there it says it was canceled, so that's why that number is down so low. But the number of officers that we honored in 2021 was 2 years worth of officers, and it was right here. So that's 2 years worth of officers right here. This is the 1 year of officers from COVID. So that was definitely significant, and I just want to recognize how significant that was to all you all as well. And whatever we can do to support you, let us know, because I know you guys did an amazing job at National Police Week. We're going to look real quickly at a survey, and you have the results there, so I'm not going to read everything to you about a survey about National Police Week. But what you may see things in there that say, could have done this better, could have done that better. Try not to focus too much on that, because 80% are saying we did great, or 93% saying we did great. We did something that was unprecedented. We basically had 14 police hotels that were full. We had busing going every which direction in Crystal City. We had people that arrived at the candlelight vigil, arrived at the memorial service on time, in chairs, bottoms in chairs. That in itself was an accomplishment. They were supported by you all. You're going to see in the statistics. You're going to see in the statistics that 90% of them felt like they were supported by their chapters. That's amazing. 90%. We got 464 responses to our survey, and 90% of them. That's statistically significant. 90% felt like they felt the chapter support. For this police week, we had 74 attending for the first time, 26 returning, and that's of the folks that answered the survey. The reality is our returning was more around 17%. They just didn't all do the survey. I know that's surprising, but actually we had our percentage returning was about 17%. So we had a lot of new folks at National Police Week. 70% were satisfied with their transportation. 30% were not. We did have some issues with the coworkers not being bused to the candlelight vigil. We're working on that. That is something that we did not push. We pushed the other direction on that, and that's not our event. We expressed our concerns with that, and hopefully that will be addressed in the future. Our hotels, 86% of our registrants stayed at our hotels, and 80% were satisfied with their stay. So one of the things that we asked ourselves as we go into this week is, and we did things a little different this year because of the survey question, and this is consistent. How am I on time, Blake? Staff? It's 9:45? Okay. I'm gonna go about 5 minutes and take 10 minutes off your break, if that's okay, and then we'll get Hope started on time. One of the things that we looked at is how important it was to families to be together versus being at the host hotel. When we have a host hotel that's got a size, it's got 481 rooms, and this year it had slightly less because the retreat wasn't really available to us, the retreat space wasn't. When we have a limited number of hotel rooms, how do we decide who from this huge piece of pie gets to be in the host hotel? That's a hard question to answer. So in the past, we've always tried to focus on having our spouses and our parents, maybe our kids in the host hotel, and everybody else on the outside. As you know, depending on what your survivor category is, that can be really painful if you're a sibling, if you're an adult child, or if you're an in-law that doesn't get to be with your family. So we always got a lot of pushback on that. So this year we put a survey out, and folks said that it was more important to stay with their families than it was to be in the host hotel. And after Police Week this year, we put out the same survey, and that's the feedback we're getting, is they really want to be together with their families, even if it means they can't be at the host hotel. What this also tells me is this is a problem that's like brewing in the background of like, what do we do? Because we really need to have our families at the host hotel. And so we are excited to talk about some big changes we're going to make for National Police Week. That's going to be Saturday afternoon. There you go. I just gave you a preview to that. We're going to talk about that on Saturday afternoon, but you can imagine we're going to have some pretty significant changes to National Police Week. Starting in 2023, we believe, for sure in 2024. So we'll talk about that on Saturday afternoon. But you have all these survey results in your PowerPoint. You can see how many people came to the cop shop. We know there's issues with the registration process, but it's 80% pretty much a B minus. So we're trying to get that improved as well. We're trying to make some changes to that. But these questions and results are all in your PowerPoint in your book for you to look through. You can probably read them better in your book as well. But we're looking for ways to improve the registration process and to figure out how we can get all of our families together and at a host hotel. So we'll be talking about that on Saturday. So at this point, let's see. Oh, I wanted to get to the end of this too, because this is very important. The sightseeing thing is something we battle. 50% of our folks went sightseeing and didn't attend because of that. So that's something I know you guys battle against that as well. We still had record numbers attending because the sheer number was so high. But that's something we battle, is the sightseeing. And the last thing I wanted to put in there, of the 93% of the survey submissions said they were satisfied with their experience at National Police Week. And that's because of you all. We saw you all there working. Those of you that were at National Police Week, almost every chapter had representatives there. Those that didn't, for the most part, had somebody that was helping those families. We want to make sure that any family that goes to National Police Week feels that support from the chapters, and you guys are doing it remarkably well. So I just wanted to say thank you from that. We're going to talk a little bit more about the future of National Police Week this weekend. We're really excited about it. And that's the end of my presentation for today. So awesome. Thanks, guys.